So I'll do a little
Right.
intro right now. Yo, what's going on? You are back on One More Thing. Thank you very much. This is a really special show. We've never done anything like this. I'm joined by Tom, one of our mentorship students. I'm also joined by Teej. We're going to listen to some really upfront music in a bit. But first, Teej, how are you doing, man?
I'm all right, thank you, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
really good. I'm really
good.
good. You've started 2025 in a bit of a dramatic way, haven't you?
Yeah, I was very ill. There's allergic going around, very ill. But I'm getting out of it now, getting back on the wagon. And but well, the last few days I've signed some amazing tunes. I've been doing a lot. We've got a release. I've got my first release this Friday, not on the label, and I've got a release the week after on my label. Um,
Right.
that you've played on Noise Radio.
Brilliant.
I'm not gonna say what one it is, but you have to listen to
Right.
that. You guys will have to listen to the Vision Radio to figure it out. But yeah, it's I'm looking forward. I've got a busy month ahead, and then it's full steam ahead from there, mate.
Brilliant, brilliant. I mean, we've been lucky on Vision because we've been playing quite a lot of upfront stuff, really, haven't we? And things like that. So thank you for sending it to us. But before we
Thank you
get
for
on
playing
to
it.
your new, to your label and everything like that, you and Tom have a connection as well, don't you? In fact, Tom, he was a successful applicant to the mentorship student, the mentorship scheme, with an interview with you. That was his piece of content.
Yeah,
So how do you two know each other?
I'll let Tom.
Well,
You can crack on, mate.
I
Yeah,
went to learn music production, and I knew Teej comes from a place 20 minutes from where I live, and I thought that's something in common. I could probably talk to him, and don't have that awkwardness to begin with. And then it's like I asked him about some lessons, and yeah,
Go
so
yeah,
on. That's a really cool thing. So when picking, because so many people, and this is such a valuable revenue stream, isn't it? Being able to be a tutor and kind of develop, to pass on your skills in that way, have a hands-on influence with the new generation and make some money. But I guess like when you want to learn, you're faced with this amazing choice of all of these great accessible producers who are living the life and making the sounds that you're aspiring to. So picking somebody locally, so then it just feels not quite so awkward sharing a Zoom call and being taught by somebody you've been looking up to. It makes it easier. I've never thought about that, but that's a really good selection criteria in that type of way. It just takes away one of the levels of like, oh my God, I'm with like a high level producer here teaching me something, I guess,
I've been
doesn't
there
it?
myself. To be
yeah.
fair, so yeah, I have, mate. I have. I'm still like, yeah. I still get that feeling of like, oh my goodness, I'm in a room with this, well, in a virtual room with this certain person. But I mean, it's been a pleasure to work with Tom. He's got a lot of potential to make a really good producer. So I'm really and I'm chuffed that the interview worked out too. Like I
Yeah.
was nervous for the interview. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like
I think we
just
both
in
were.
this right now is making me quite nervous. In all honesty, but
Go
like
on.
he done really well, and I'm chuffed to bits that he's joined you because obviously Dave, I've known you since the UKF interview of OCC. So I'm really happy for what you guys are doing over there, and I'm really grateful to be a part of this.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, it is this. Yeah, I think whether you're just launching a label, I've got my brand. It's that DIY, independent, having your own kind of thing that you can develop. We're kind of we're on the same level with this. Really, having something which you can totally make your own, and having had experience, with yourself with labels, you know how labels work. You also run OCC or co-run OCC. So you know how labels work, and then it's being able to do your own take on that. Really, that's certainly what One More Thing was coming away from UKF, Drum and Bass Arena, DJ Mag, and all of these other things. Like, what did I love about all of these? What didn't I want to do? What did I want to do differently? Not in a negative way, just how would I do it myself? And then doing that, and I guess that's where you're at with NYX now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's yeah, that is a perfect way to describe it really. Like OCC is like that. I love the music we put out on there. I love the boys. I love every artist we have. I love everything we've done with it. And I still continue to and I will still do that. It's but I have a special place for pure underground minimal dark drum and bass. And I feel like OCC doesn't particularly do that, and I'm not the sort of person to. It's a we're a team OCC, and that's the we all have to cohesively say this is OCC, right? And we've just signed like some great music from Des, some music from some other really great artists, and I was thinking in one of my slumps, I was just wanted to do a project that comes from pure passion that I can really say is something that I do myself. So the artwork I'm doing myself, the mastering I'm doing myself, the music, a lot of it is my own music. I'm making people collab with each other. I'm reaching out to artists who 3 years ago wouldn't even probably have a look at me now, but because I've tried to really build myself up enough to the point where I can launch a label and say, look, I've got some credentials now and I've got some backing behind me. Would you like to be a part of it? And I've got some really, really exciting names involved already. And the music is true to itself. Like it's the slogan. Well, it's not a slogan, but it's for the underground, and it is truly that. And it's also for the artist too. Like it's every artist has a 75%, 25% split royalty system, which is
Sick.
that's set in stone. And I've made sure that's part of the whole ethos of it. Is that I know how shafted you can get as an artist. I know it's difficult. I know that it's there's a lot of business involved, and I don't. I like the music. I don't like the business, but you can't always separate the two. And if I'm in control of the business, and I want to make sure that the artist gets treated the way that I would want to be treated, right? So I want to make sure that they're happy with the music. They are, luckily, every single release I've got planned. I've got every release planned until July now already done. The artwork's been made. The tracks, I've got some tracks that I'm going to show you that from artists that. So one person has like 80 followers, and I was jealous of how good he was. Like I'm really
I
finding
love
some.
that.
I'm finding some incredible people and some incredible artists that maybe aren't given a chance because of how difficult it is to push through.
Yeah.
And I think that like that's why I said the demo submissions are open. Here's my inbox, please. And every single person gets a handwritten reply and how I have feedback and how I can help. Because I've been doing my Patreon for it'll be 5 years now. I've had over 650 people on there, and in that time,
Wow.
I give feedback to every single person. I've learned how important the feedback and the communication process is, especially from someone who I don't know why, but some people look up to my music. It still feels weird to me to even say that because I'm still just a dude on a laptop making sounds. But I'm grateful enough to be in that position that people want to not only ask me for advice, but also want to give me their music to put out to the world. And I feel like so far it's looking promising, mate. So
That's
yeah.
great. That's amazing. I could probably get some Patreon tips off you then. I found
Oh mate,
Patreon has
no,
really
please,
done
yeah,
my
please.
mental
It's
health in, but I think Tom would be able to, kind of explain a little bit why he was drawn to you besides location. I know having heard some of Tom's productions, I can hear why he looked to you for some tutoring and things like that. But I think Tom could probably give the best reason why anybody might look to Teej's Patreon over any one of your peers who, kind of might be offering something similar.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like he definitely tailors every single lesson towards a student. I mean, he was telling me about uh, some students who didn't even need know how to make a drum break. Like he could teach you from like knowing absolutely nothing to building the knowledge uh, really, really quickly. Uh, that's how I've improved so quickly, so fast by using a mentor like Teach.
Go on. That's
Yeah,
amazing. Do you find that
thank you,
you're a
man.
natural teacher then, Teej? Do you
Oh
find
no,
is that have you
no,
taken to this quite naturally?
no. Every single
No,
lesson scares the
you
bleep
can
out of
swear.
me. I can swear it
Yeah.
scares the shit out of me, mate. Honestly, I have imposter syndrome beyond belief. And I'm quite open about my mental health with my Patreons as well, and in general. I'm the sort of person that kind of makes a track and then a week later thinks that everything I do sucks. But
I
and
can
and
relate.
that's just how that's something that I've dealt. It's taken me a long time to try and teach. Like, and if you if you listen to I record every lesson. If you listen to the lessons, I'm sometimes sitting there stuttering like I've got Tourette's or something, and it's because I don't. It's the pressure and the I want to do well in that hour. If someone's paid me the money, I want to give them the best I can. And so and the thing is that I don't know everything about production. I'm still a student, right? So
And always
as
will be,
and I will never
we're
not be a
always
student.
learning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the man that thinks he knows everything knows nothing. So
Yeah.
I think there's sometimes people ask me stuff and I go, you know what, mate, I don't know, but I can teach you how I would try, and we'll troubleshoot things in person, and then they can find out my creative process in live form. And I've learned a lot of techniques, and I mean I've done a master's at university for music, and that taught me nothing for drum and bass, because it's all like
Wow.
radio like music, like mix downs that are too clean, and not how to get the sound design that I go for. And so I just took all I took from that university was business, and that's I think where I maybe got my tutoring kind of ideas from. As I was like, okay, I've kind of learned, because my tutor was I'm pretty sure he was a stoner, and I'm pretty sure he was pretty laid back because he was just chilling, and but I gravitated towards that natural gravity, like his relaxed demeanor of it. And I was thinking, you know what, if I can just chat to these aspiring producers and just kind of chill out and say, you know what, let's have a go together and let's try and learn. And then
Yeah.
afterwards, let's keep the rapport up. Let's keep some feedback. I want to keep talking to you. And I've had some people on my Patreon tier that have been on there for like 6, 7 months now. So
Wow.
there's always something you can learn, and there's always stuff that I'm learning. I learn from my students. I sometimes I go, wow, how'd you do that? And then I'm learning from them. It's like that feeling is amazing, to have that sort of constant back and forth of creative like ingenuity is just flowing
Yeah.
constantly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really vibes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I love that. That's like a real kind of, that's where it becomes much more of a kind of culture and community than a
Yeah.
service.
I
You know,
think community
you're,
is important, man, especially in what we do because we're so underground, right?
yeah, yeah.
It's
We need to support each
yeah,
other. We need to
we do.
be in that type of way. And there was a word that you said just now, which, like, weirdly, I'd never seen creativity in this way until I started speaking to workforce, and it was about 2, 3 years ago. And he used the word troubleshooting and problem solving. And I was like, no, that's too logical. That's too dry for creativity. And he's like, well, how else would you describe it? You've got an idea in your mind and you want to put it out onto your computer or onto a piece of paper or onto a canvas or whatever your medium is. You are problem solving from the moment you've had that idea to the minute you think it's finished. That's a
Hmm.
whole case of problem solving. And
Our
I'd
brain's
never
just a
really
computer,
seen it
isn't
in
it?
that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just like, hang on a minute, I need to compute that. And I did. And it wasn't until I was kind of developing one more thing. And he was just one of the first people I mentioned the idea to. And I was like, the more and more I thought about it, the more it's like, wow, everything is problem solving. I mean, you could boil it down to everything in life is problem solving, but certainly
Life
if
is
you
a
have an
problem.
idea, yeah, you have an idea and then it's articulating it really is the way. What's been the most, and obviously, I mean, I don't want to ask you an awkward question, but have you had any moments when you're teaching where, and I could think of millions from my capacity as a host or anything like that, when you're live in front of lots of people and you're talking and suddenly something goes wrong or something happens and it's just the worst experience ever. How did you troubleshoot that situation? What was it?
Yeah,
Obviously,
well,
without giving away any details or anything
no,
like that.
there's, I mean, I just upgraded my laptop. So my laptop beforehand, it crashed like 6 times in a lesson,
Oh,
and it got,
whoa.
yeah, so I was sitting there, and then that's like 6 times in a row constantly, and I was recording it. So the recording was just watching me just at this point screwing, and I was like, I can't. I just couldn't do it. I gave the person an extra half an hour and just said, look, just let me remake that, because it was just one plugin that was just, I was opening it and it was crashing my whole computer. So I was
Oh,
just doing that constantly, and I was sitting there going, I'm going to scream. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to try and I'm going to use a different plugin that does the same thing. And it worked. It was just a plugin. The plugin was buggered because I updated the latest OS. If you use a Mac and you use Logic or whatever, you know that if you update stuff, everything goes to absolute shite. So
yeah.
yeah, that was hectic. I was, by the fourth crash, I thought I was I was in tears, mate. Don't worry about
Oh, it's
that.
worse. I can feel the adrenaline and just on your face is
Yeah,
just going
yeah,
really, really red, and you're just thinking, "Oh my
yeah,
God, I just want this to be over. I just wanted this. I'll crawl into a hole."
yeah, yeah. Literally, yeah.
Awesome, cool. Tom? Can you think of anything? And this is putting you on the spot here. We've not prepared this or anything, but were there any things that you've had from tuition sessions from Teej that you can think of now, which are still in your head when you're producing and making beats and making tunes? Are there things that you implement which you've taken from Tyler?
It's on the
Um,
spot there, mate. You just
Yeah, I
done
know.
it.
Where's that hole to crawl in again?
yeah. Um, look after your low end. Look
That
after your
well, I
low
mean,
end.
to be fair, that's the one thing that's yeah, low end is key. And so if you took that from that, then that is generally the best thing I can teach you is look
Yeah.
after your low end. If you go to a rave, you'll understand what I mean. If you go listen to a valve system, and then you'll understand what I mean by
Good low end.
look after your low end. So I'm glad you
Yeah.
took that away. Yeah.
So is that making sure that the subs are sitting in exactly the right spot and that there's nothing muddy, that they're clean, that they're coming through
Yeah.
properly and not messing with other frequencies?
I mean that's a question that it can differ from every single producer you ask, but I mix with my sub as my loudest point in every tune I make, and I do that. And I guarantee you, there's going to be producers that are sitting there listening, going, "What are you doing? You're a noob." But I do because, and it's worked for me so far because I love that it's drum and bass, right? And so it's not drum and synth, it's not drum and harmonica, it's drum and bass, like the bass, the 50 hertz pumping through. I want you, that has to be the most prevalent part, and that's why there's a theme in all of my music, which is like a lot of people come to me. I mean, I'd say 80% of the people that come to me asking for lessons, they say, how do you get your subs or your low end like that? And so obviously
Right.
I'm doing something right in that respect, I guess. There's some producers
Wow.
I listen to that I feel absolutely inadequate to, but for there's people that like what I do to the point where they want to learn, then I'm more than happy to teach them that.
Yeah.
I
Go on.
mean, there's no rules in production anyway. People,
It's not. It's everything's. It's a painting, right? It's just a painting. It's abstract. There's a certain few things that you have to do. Like you have to make sure that the canvas is clean. You need to make sure that there's certain ways to let the paint dry, but the making the painting is that's completely up to you how you want to do that. And there's very few rules unless you want
Yeah.
to be a nerd about it. But we don't do nerds around here. We have fun. We want to. It's about being fun. It's not about just trying
Yeah.
to be so. You have to have fun in what you're doing, or else what's the point in doing it? And even if it is a job, even if it is making money off of it, if I stop making music, if I have the time when I stop enjoying this, then I'll quit, and I will make sure that I won't. I'll go be a carpenter or something. I don't know, but and that's
Yeah.
the point, right? It's fun. Just make
Yeah.
sure that your low end's not too got reverb on it, and you're all right.
Go on. Well, I think it's time that you've shown us some paintings.
Okay, so I thought I'd start with this. Now, you played the original of this track on
Yes.
Noise Radio. Now, this is a special that I made. I got made the day after I made it by
Oh,
Reslek.
wow.
So yeah, I thought I'd play this just to start it off because the samples obviously say like NYX and stuff. Don't ask me how I found those samples because that's the trade secret. But yeah, I'll play you a section of this and see what you think.
Okay, go.
If not NYX, then who? Dominion.
Oh, wow. Jeez. Oh, my word. wow, that's a
Yeah.
bubbler. Fucking hell, go on.
So that was that I had to like. That was obviously I made Chagrin, which was like the first track for NYX, right? I made that, and I actually made that track, and then the day after made the label, and then the 2 days after that released the track. So like I went like, I think I had a proper like kind of like I'm doing it all now kind of moment. And then I got this remix done the week after, and I was blown away. I was like, this guy's so good. He is so good. I don't know if you know Marlon or if you spoke to him, but
I've never
he
spoken
is,
to him, but well aware. We play a lot of his stuff on Vision Radio.
mate,
Well aware of his stuff.
he is truly like insane as a producer, and I'm really grateful to have him on board. He's got an EP coming out, let's say in the first 6 months of this year, featuring
Right.
a remix from Para as well.
Oh, man.
So
Go on.
that's
Wow.
And now next up on the plate, this guy Regrowth, he's amazing, like really amazing. And then I've never heard of him before this, and he sent
No,
me
I've
some
never heard of
demos.
him.
No, he sent me some demos, and I was like, who the bloody hell are you? Like, what is this? The production level is insane. I'm building an EP with him as well. I've got Felov on a remix for him. He's one to look out for. So everyone that's listening, please go follow him. Go, please. And I really think that if you've anything like what I like, I think you'll enjoy it as well.
Go on. Was this the one you were jealous of then?
Yeah. Yeah.
Play this record as frequently as possible.
Oh, it's so dark, man. I love it. So yeah, I mean,
Definitely getting an
it's-
idea of the vibe now.
you do like I'm hoping there's like a theme to like the sort of music that I'm signing. It's deep
Definitely.
and it's angry, it's dark and it's dangerous. If there's 4 Ds to kind of like, tenacious Ds to kind of
Yeah.
go by, then yeah, he's got so much potential to be the next Wings or something. I swear, he's amazing, and I'm really looking
Yeah.
forward to that.
He's definitely looking after his low end as well, isn't he?
Mate, that is what grabbed me as well. As I said, I was like, because I played it through the speakers, and then I played like 3 seconds of it, and I just pressed pause and just kind of sat there, and I was like, all right, and okay, all right, and then I listened back. I was like, yeah, I didn't. There's like, I literally said to him, I just said, please, can I have that? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. I was like, get in there, mate. Come on.
What I'm
So yeah,
liking here, and maybe I should leave this observation until we've listened to them all, but I think there's a real traditional drum and bass theme running here. Like you said, it's drum and bass. It's not drum and fake drop. It's not drum and screech. It's and all of those kind of
you will not find
current flavors, which I will never deny and I will never devalue. Like drum and bass has always got to have its current flavors,
of course,
but
yeah.
it also needs its people pushing other stuff as well to be the current flavors later on, or to be the alternative, to make it a healthy genre full of lots of different options. And this is very, it makes me think of Dispatch, it makes me think of Sofa Sound, it makes me think of DLR, Skeptical. I'm naming like real obvious names and
you're naming people
points
that I
here.
look up to, right? So and you're naming like I mean I make some very weird stuff. I've made some very questionable stuff as well, but I don't deny it. But I've got one true thing is that this is the sound that I love, and it's pretty much like, I mean, we also like, I've got some 140 to show you as well in the last 2 tracks, because we're putting out some 142. The whole theme has just got to be dark or rolling, dark vibes. That is just like that is the synopsis of our book, right? So this track here is from the Undecentium EP that you've heard of, Dave.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to this coming out. This is coming out next month, I believe.
Go on with it. Wow.
Right. Just evil music, mate. It's evil.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. I think was that all of them at once?
Yeah, mate. You'd be surprised how many times I do that when I'm trying to mix down tunes. I play everything at once and almost blind myself. But yeah, that EP is Undecentium is an amazing producer, and he was sitting on these tracks for a long time. And then I messaged him and said, "Mate, I've got loads of dubs of yours. Are they going anywhere?" And he said, "Nah." And I said, "Well, please can I have them." And he just said, "Yep." He sent me a folder of 8 tunes, and he said I could have all of them.
Oh wow!
I chose 4 for an EP. One just came out on free download last week on NYX. You can get it now for free download. Really good tune. And then I've got some 140 tracks that I've got one of his 140 tracks, which is coming out on a 140. It's called Unquadrillium, the VA, which is the nuclear. It's the nuclear number for 140, I think, or something like that.
Oh,
nice. I tried to be proper smart about it, but I mean, knowing my luck, I've got the wrong number. But I've tried to be smart with it. But yeah, so that's coming out as with the last 2 tracks on this. But yeah, the next one, Atmospherics. He's, I believe, Belgian, but I don't want to.
I think he is as well. Yeah, I was borderline offensive to him on the radio the other day because he had a sample running through the track, just a vocal sample saying "pointless," and that
tune, right? I tried to sign that for OCC, and then Flex Out grabbed it, and I was fuming. But it's right because I love Tom. Tom's my boy, but I wanted it, and then I said, and then I love that tune, and the sample is so fun to mix with, but I mean, I don't know, what were you mugging it off on the radio?
A little bit, yeah. I said I needed closure because I was like, by calling it pointless, you're almost making it pointless. Like, I don't know, it was too. I tied myself up. I'm too literal with a lot of things.
No, but mate,
and I think are you saying this? Is this music pointless? Is this sample pointless?
This is called Basics, mate. So is this tune basic? Is what you're?
Oh man, so I'm just basically. Me and Atmospherics have got beef without him even trying. He's not said anything to me. He's not done anything. He's clearly a nice person, and here I am just criticizing. But maybe he's pointing out these things. Like, I need this pointed out, and I bet it's not basic. Like the pointless track wasn't pointless, and I bet this ain't a basic track.
No, and I'm gonna show it for you, and I hope you don't think it's basic because I think it's a bloody brilliant tune.
Please take a moment to locate your ear sticks.
Yeah.
Not basic, is it, Dave?
Not at all.
I love that stuff.
Yeah. That's Nice.
Yeah, so
there's a real urgency in those drums. There's just that they kind of push a little bit before the kind of that extra element comes in. Yeah, there's just a sense of urgency about just the momentum about that track. Definitely
I
nothing
think
basic about that.
that's the really like the cool thing I like about deep minimal, right? Is that you can do minimal but with a lot of elements. It just depends. Like if you have a lot of drums but it's stripped back in every other element, kind of, I still find that minimal in a certain aspect. Or if it's deep and dark enough, like there's compare some of these tracks, they're different in how minimal they are and how, but they all have the same essence, right? Which is they're dark, they're deep, and there's some sort of label cohesion which I'm trying to make, which I feel like I'm kind of trying to pull off. You can tell me otherwise if I'm not pulling it off, and I'll make a new label called like Hello or something like that. But I think I'm doing all right.
You can definitely hear it. You can. What is your thought on the word? Right. Firstly, please can I have some dubs, because I'm going back to back with Peter, who runs.
Firstly,
yeah,
you're on the mailing list though, so
I don't get those. I don't get the vision.
All right, well,
so I get the tunes that they play.
Look,
for
mate,
the
we'll
show.
talk after the call. We'll talk after the call, and then
because I got a B2B with Energy, Peter, who runs Overview. I've got B2B with filming one, and I want to throw some of these on him because they're the type of tunes that I can pull on his sorry ass. Go on.
I've got one or two for you, mate. Don't you worry.
Cool. And then also what made me think of that was the use of the word deep. So he said he did a post, and I've also mugged him off on the radio about this as well. Because he said, please don't call Overview deep. I think it's a bit of a cringe term. I don't think it relates to the label anymore. Maybe it did at a certain point. But for me, deep is the ultimate compliment. If someone says that, one more thing is deep, that's wicked. We're going below the surface. We're not just giving you just like the surface level froth. We're going deep on this. And so we just had a discussion about it. It was definitely not a falling out. It was a nice, healthy debate.
Pete loves a discussion, mate. Pete can discuss.
He says he's ruined drum and bass with it.
Mate, well, apparently everything's ruined drum and bass from what I've seen. And but by the way, nothing's ruined drum and bass. Everyone just do your own thing. Is all I'm going to say about that. I've stayed out of this whole matter, right? Because I hate social media to bits. But yeah, times have changed. So you just do you, and keep moving. Don't worry about everyone else. Just do your thing.
Definitely. Right. And that's what I've said in response to everything as well. It's like there's still great stuff out there. You've just got to find it. Maybe you've got to dig a little bit deeper from time to time.
And as this next tune is called, you got to keep it real.
Hey.
Right? I should be on Vision Radio, mate. I'm decent with segues. Definitely. I'm telling you. So this is Disrupt. Disrupt is an incredible artist.
Do you know what? Really, I'm going to take the opportunity here to apologize to Disrupt, because it was one of those people where, like, as I say, yes, 1,000,001. I didn't mug him off on the radio. There isn't.
You mugging off a lot of people, mate.
I'm mugging off left, right, and centre. I mugged him off in a much worse way. I did an interview with him, but I had so many interviews to transcribe. I just never got around to transcribing it and writing it. And by the time I might have found some time, it was kind of dated. And I've never got back to supporting him. We've supported him on the radio and on the playlist and stuff like that. But if you're watching this, and there's a high chance you are, because we're playing a dub of yours on this piece of content, I really do apologize for that. I am getting it right. He's Brazilian, isn't it? It's a Brazilian producer.
You're putting me on the spot now, mate, to be honest.
Yes, I'm mugging you off now, mate.
Mate, all I see is sine waves, mate. I don't know where people are like. There's so
I'm 100% sure it's him, and if it's not, then we'll just edit this.
I'm pretty sure you're right, but yeah, it's
because I always cringe. I always feel a bit bad, and I think, shit, I did him wrong.
I don't know. Like, I don't really ask where people are from unless they speak to me in German. Like, so like Reslek and Regrowth, I put them in a group chat together, and then there was my whole phone is going off in German, and I just sent a voice note going. I was like, guys, I don't know what you're saying, but keep going because the tune you're making is great. but it's all in my whole phone is just German now. So it's like but there's some amazing talent coming from Brazil, from Germany, from Belgium, Austria. Even some New Zealand, like the dark producers from New Zealand. Like New Zealand was kind of unanimous with a bit of like jump up at one point. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
I may be wrong, but the dark stuff coming from there is insane. UK is well. Do I need to say anything about the dark scene in the UK? Nothing.
UK.
I know that people love. There's a lot of the ties have changed in terms of sounds in the UK, but the darkness originated here, and it is definitely still here to stay, and I'm going to prove that to you. So, right, this one is Disrupt Real.
Oh man.
It's pretty real, isn't it? It's pretty real.
Yeah. That's rough. Go on.
You know
Wow.
that's
Go
one of
on.
them tunes you need to drop at the absolute right moment.
Mate,
Yeah.
that tune, honestly, I can't wait. I can't wait I'm playing Flex out in Cheltenham, and I think I'm just gonna try and do like a complete NYX set and just I've never had so many dubs that no one else has, like because they're all for me, like for my label. So I'm so gassed to play all this music. 'Cause it's incredible, and it's like to have this, as I was saying earlier, to have that talent give their music to me is like such a privilege, and I'm so grateful to everyone that's of the artists here that's watching this. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for letting me give this a home. And
I mean, that's the privilege of running a label, really, isn't it? And that's something that I'm learning at the moment, kind of, you know, adding a label side to one more thing. And for me, it's like you've got a really kind of stylized sound. There's something very specific that you're looking for, a very specific story that you want to tell. Whereas with me, I really I'm the opposite in that I just want this kind of scrapbook collage effect of everything all at once. Which means
one more thing,
that
one more, mate. One more thing. I love one more thing.
It.
Yeah,
totally.
I like it.
No, but it means
I love
that
approach.
everything that anybody ever sends to me, I can see potential in, I can hear potential. But then
Absolutely.
you need to be able to say no. You need to be able to really think about it.
And that's not easy. It's not easy as well, because I don't feel like I'm in a position to say no to anyone, because music's so subjective that I'm not the one to say. I will never say like, oh, that's crap, because there's no such thing as crap. It's just not something I like. Yeah. And I always say, look, I really, really appreciate you sending it. I think it's awesome. Keep sending some stuff and really keep doing what you're doing, because I mean, I used to send out demos when I started, and some of the stuff, and I'm not going to name names, but from some of the big boys they were harsh to me, mate. And I took that on the chin, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm just going to get better. And so I sat there for like 8 hours a day in my room, not eating, just sweating out like a gimp, just making just really just trying to hone my 50 hertz. And it was, and yeah, it worked out. Like, just be cordial to people, be nice to people. We're all in this together. One love, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And feedback is really good. Feedback's really important. Like, you know, you don't want anybody just being like, yeah, great tune, but then not doing anything with it. You want to give some critique.
If I had that, if I sent someone something and they said, yeah, great tune, and it could be better, and then I found out after the fact, I would be absolutely devastated that I put out the version that wasn't as good as it could be.
Yeah.
And I think that is, if you just remember that some people are not going to be nice to you in this scene, not even in the way they mean to be, but then they won't be as polite as you expect. Don't take that to heart. Just keep it moving, and keep doing your thing, and you'll achieve whatever you want to do, as long as you just keep trying and don't let it knock you down a peg. Like, it's gonna, because people are gonna knock you down multiple pegs, trust me. There's so people will find a reason to hate your music, because maybe it's doing too well, or maybe it's because if they can't
Yeah.
make it, they're gonna find a way to. As long as you can just shrug it off and go, all right, don't worry about it, then you're all good.
Yeah. And I think when you're being true to yourself and you're following your vision and you're doing what you want to
Mate,
do, that makes it a
if you're
hell of a lot
following your
easier
vision
then, doesn't
radio, then yeah, exactly.
it? Brilliant.
So yeah, I've got two more. I've got like 40 tunes, but I chose these just because I thought these all showed a bit of a different style. Now these two are 140.
Great.
This is from Spective, who I'm sure you've heard of. He's just done an
Yeah.
amazing tune of Clinical, I think it was called Tokyo. Done amazing. He's a good friend of mine, Dan. He finished this last night for the CP. This is coming out on the Unquadrillion
Wow.
EP.
It doesn't get any fresher than that, really, does it?
Mate, honestly, mate, fresh to death. So yeah, this is Slug Dub.
What a title, too.
I know.
That hits
everything.
hard. Go
Mate,
on.
I'm telling you, this EP, this VA is actually still in the works. I've got 5 tunes. I want 8 really for the VA. So anyone out there listening to this, if you've got anything dark 140, please send it to me, tyler@nyxrecordings.com. And I'd love for you to be a part of it. So that's like a little, I want to get this to be like, because it's going to be the first 140 project on the thing. I've got a theme that I want to do. I've got plans flying about, but yeah, this 140 project's going to be pretty much a statement to say, like, yeah, we're not just doing drums. Don't worry about that. We're doing, it's dark underground music.
Yeah.
So I might end up trying to sign Burial in a few years if I've got the. We'll see how that goes.
I've got a heavy industrial vibe on that.
Yeah. So that's industrial, right? Like I started my journey in free parties when I was like 14. We used to go down into like the abandoned water plant, set up a rig down there, do loads of completely legal things as a kid would do. Set up a rig. I used to have NDX 200s, some new marks with some I used to go down there with a bag of CDs, and we used to just go like and spin until about 8 in the morning. And it was like, it felt like I was in an industrial plant. You know what I mean? Like the end, like that, and that sort of vibe stuck with me for like that's where I fell in love with like that sort of music, right? And now it's kind of that sound, like that industrial kind of the hardware sound, like that sort of sound is unbeatable for me. And so yeah, that's why I'm in love with it, mate. It's a passion that I can't really describe. So
this is a real product of what got you into music, into partying, into beats, into DJing all together.
Yeah.
Really, if we trace it right the way back, this sound and these influences then come from your first experiences. We are a product of our environments and that type
this
of way.
is like, I said this when I started it, this is literally a project of pure passion. This is everything that I could say if you wanted to if you wanted to weigh into my brain and a way into my heart in terms of music, then this is the label is going to be, the sound that comes from it is going to be what you're going to see. Like, this is exactly what I like, and it's not going to be anything. There's not going to be one track on here that isn't something that I feel reflects how I feel about music. So I think that's
Yeah.
important. Like, there's no, it's all killer, no filler for me. It's all, and I want to, and obviously the whole point of the 75-25 split thing, right? And that is like, I want to be a community, and I want to build something that isn't just a label you chuck stuff out on. I want to give everyone like the love that I feel for the music that I'm listening to, and I want to
Yeah.
share that, right? And this sounds like something out of a Disney movie, but honestly, like, it's true. Like, I do really have such a passion for this sort of music that is, I'm hoping that it shows, and I'm hoping that people like feel the same way that I do about it.
It definitely shows. It definitely
Good.
shows.
I'm
And all
glad,
of that
mate.
resonates with me as well in terms of, kind of how I see one more thing in that type of way. And it has to be that personal. We live in a world of corporate brands. We live in a world of this horrible kind of faceless conservatism where everything is starting to look the same and people are dressing the same. And, like the new generations in school don't have the tribes that we might have had growing up. Everybody wants to look the same because nobody really wants to stand out in that type of way. And we're dealing with this kind of wishy-washy. We all have the same, like, I don't know, it's just it's late stage capitalism really, and like personal brands, things that really come from the person, and they might just be like batch made or like limited to 100 or handmade. That's the stuff that really sings out with actual kind of creativity now, because it's being made not thinking about costs, project like margins or any of these type of things
No.
which affect the normal working day capitalist world, which we all live in and we all have to accept that we benefit from. We're talking on computers and we make music and on laptops, and we use mobiles and all of these kind of products. But when you see something which has got that personality and got that passion behind it, it stands out so much more because of the world that we're living in,
Yeah.
I think, really, isn't it?
Absolutely, mate. You should write that on a t-shirt. It's going to be a long t-shirt, but that should be on a t-shirt, because that is,
We only
you
do
hit the
them in
nail on the head.
XXXL.
You hit the nail on the head there, mate. It's true. You got like, it's a world of originality is not exactly something that we're finding in excessive amounts, and
No, we're
being true
not.
to yourself is not. And I think music's a good way to show who you really are, whether it's
Yeah.
if you make it or if you sign it, if you release it, if you talk about it. In your case, no matter what, be yourself about it, and you can really show your individuality. And I think that is so important.
Massively,
Yeah.
massively. So now we're going to wrap up. So we started with a remix of you, and now we've got a collaboration as well.
Yeah,
You've kept
no,
your own kind of productions out of this a little bit, haven't you?
yeah,
Really?
well, yeah, because I mean, I didn't want to come across and just be like, yeah, look, it's my label, my tunes, blah blah blah. I've got tunes on my label, I've got some stuff, but I've got some amazing artists that I want to highlight, and I wanted to highlight these people. And there's more that I wish I could go through, and we'd be here for hours, mate, because I've got so many tunes. But this one's with Scotty. He's like one of my best mates. We moved to Bristol together.
Oh,
Uh,
go on.
he was started producing like just before we moved, and now he's working on stuff for one of the biggest labels in drum and bass. And
Sick.
it's, to watch his journey is amazing. We made this track like in one night, well, I think, and it is obnoxious as anything, but it's very, very dark. So I thought, oh yeah, we'll play it a little bit and see what happens.
Go on, wicked. What the fuck? I need this tune.
I got you.
Woof. Jeez. Oh.
And I'm going to play the switch for you just because the switch is pretty special. So all you're getting for that one. I'll send you the tune though.
I'm not. That is exactly what I say yamuk to on the radio. Like, have a word. Jeez, that's woof. Wow, go on. Have you got a release date for that particular one then?
So that is coming out on the
VA.
Need to say the word again, on Quadrillium.
Quadrillium. Yeah.
So I mean, no, to be fair, I could use your help on this one, because I'm thinking of doing the single structure, where you have a single, then another single, then an album.
Yeah.
So I might do that. I want, because I think this track deserves a bit of like, this was been our baby for like almost 2 years. We've sat on it and we sent it out and everyone's been loving it, but it never found a home. And I was like, you know what, mate, can we just put it out on this? And he's like, yeah. And now, like, he's going to watch this back and he's going to be gassed at that reaction. So yeah, that's going to be coming out. As I said, I'm still building the project, but that will be out on that project. Hopefully, yeah, it'll probably be mid this year.
Brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant. I'm really enjoying the two-way street between 140 and 174 at the moment, and I think we can put a lot of it down to Alex Perez. Really, I think, and
mate,
going back, like,
he's the GOAT.
He was doing that a long time before, when nobody was really kind of touching dubstep at all. He was putting out kind of 140 bits and stuff like that, and kind of, I think, for a lot of people of your generation, he is like, the kind of one of the most influential artists in this kind of sound.
Without a doubt.
And it's really exciting to see, and that variation for someone who, like, I've really admired anybody. And a good example, the last person I spoke to about this was Reedy. And because he did me this mix and it was just minimal and rolling and just so stylized. And I was like, I wish I could do a mix like that. I wish I could stay as focused. And it's just, so that you just kind of create this kind of weave of frequencies. It's not like you're mixing tunes anymore. You're just creating a vibe. And my mixes are, I'll jump from here to there to here to there. And even when I'm trying to keep it subtle, that kind of happens. But like, this label is a great example of that as well, where there's a sound, there's something that you've got here, like a thread, which you're weaving through everything, really. And I admire that in anything, because it gives a real kind of focus. There's something, it's about a mood, it's about a vibe. It's beyond the music in that type of way, isn't it?
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. That's what I was going for. So I'm really glad that the vision's coming across. Vision Radio.
Definitely. Tom, what do you make of all of this? This is the first time you sat in on a call like this. I'm very lucky to be played a lot of music ahead of its time and stuff, and I think it's really enjoyable just to be played music, and just this is my job. I'm just literally here to listen and be able to articulate my response. But how was that for you, hearing all of that?
Yeah, you're definitely getting your vision across. As for sitting on music, it's definitely a first when you're trying to think about music critically, and then obviously you've got this camera on you at the same time. It's a different experience for sure.
Yeah,
you're doing great, mate. You're doing great.
Yeah, you really are. You really are. And I think, it is like, you almost forget that the camera is on. I think it's still something that I'm still learning myself, like going back to the very start of the conversation where we're saying about all learning, when I do my demo drop sessions, and it's like, right, the camera is on me. People have sent me music, they're expecting a response, and they're not expecting that, oh, this is a banger, like there needs to be. I mean, sometimes there's very physical reactions, you can do stuff, but then it's fine. It's like, okay, so you've sent this to me for some form of critique. What can I say about this? Which isn't just going to mug you off. Or sometimes, do I just have to resort to mugging
sorry,
someone
atmospherics,
off?
mate.
Oh man, atmospherics. I'm going to get you a beer one day if I ever meet you. If I cross your path and you want to spend any time with me. No, I mean, it's a skill that you kind of get used to, but I think it's great. Like you can really see who, and this is more in the real life scenario. And Teej, I reckon you've probably seen a few of these type of people. You spend so much time in the studio. If somebody plays you something, you just go into this kind of natural stasis. It's a listening state which you go into, and you close your eyes. You might be rocking to it, but then you see other people in the industry who aren't really part of the industry. They're just there because they're an agent, or they're a PR, or they're a mate of a mate of a mate, and they're on their phone and they're fidgeting around and they don't know where to look, and they're doing everything but listen to the music. And again, in this kind of crazy world of like just intense information all of the time, to be in a room or on a call like this and just for everybody to shut the fuck up for a couple of minutes and listen to something, again, it's bliss. Like, you know, and you're just like, I'll close my eyes because I'm aware that there's a camera and we're filming this or anything, or people might be looking at me. And that takes away my awkwardness, and it's me and the music. And then, yeah, it's like, shit, how do I feel about this? And luckily over years, I've been able to articulate that. But again, like just being able to share a moment with a couple of other adults and listen to music together, it's a rarity, and it's made this whole experience incredibly special. This is something that I'd like to do again with yourself and with other artists who are sitting on a mountain of dubs and like launching labels or about to reveal projects. And it's like, how do you reveal something as big as this? Because it's huge. This is your life. This is your personality, isn't it?
Yeah. Well said. Well said.
Go
Yeah.
on. Brilliant.
I think you're onto
Well,
something there, mate.
Yeah.
brilliant. Well, best of luck with NYX and everything. Yeah, I am going to pester the hell out of you for some dubs.
I've got
And
you,
just
mate.
keep it. I'll be paying attention and supporting on Vision and on One More Thing. And thank you very much, Tom, as well, for joining us. And yeah, for willing this into existence, really, because it was you who brought Teej to the table when you got your mentorship as well. So thank you very much, Tom, and thank you to everybody who's either watched or listened or whatever the hell it is we do with this recording. But we're going to do something sick because that music needs shouting about very, very loudly.